Hi guys, and welcome back to Times Midi Time with me, Midi Timachole. If you're a return subscriber, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome to you too. While we're here, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notification every single time I post a video, and follow my socials. Let's be friends on social media. Guys, I haven't filmed a video in such a long time. This is actually my second attempt at filming this video, so basically my second time filming a video in this room. In my new Aupair room. As you guys can see, I am no longer in my room in Atlanta. I'm in a new environment, in a new city, and in this video I'm going to be explaining the whole extension process and how it was for me and where I am and what's going on. I feel like if you already follow me on Instagram, you already know what's going on, but I just thought that I should make this video about the extension process because I have such a huge backlog of vlogs. I literally edited so many vlogs today and I'm like, dog, you need to film this video. It has to go up because it's literally the only video that's holding me back. But guys, welcome. See by the title of today's video, I'm going to be explaining the whole extension process and what extending your year as an au pair is, and I'm going to be explaining it to the best of my abilities and what I know. I'm going to be looking down to look at the notes that I have. I can't believe that I'm doing this for another year. I had to go back and forth on whether or not I'm going to be extending, or whether I'm going to be going back to school. I really needed to take time to think about it and pray about it, because I told myself that Yazin, I shut myself so much in the past year, even though it may not look like it, but I honestly feel like I did, and there's just so much more that I wanted for myself, and I was unable to achieve those goals. So this year we are going to the top. We are traveling by the best of my ability. If bank balance I do my, but by the power of God, we'll be able to do it. But yeah, guys, let me get into the video. So if you're already on au pair, 7 months, you're going to be getting a notification from your agency. For example, with me with cultural care, they sent me an email asking me if I'm going to be extending my stay, if I want to be going back home. And obviously I have to think about it, but then with that email, it also gives you time to, they also tell in the email you have to start speaking to your host family and also telling them whether you're going to be extending, or if you are going to be extending with them, extending with another family. You have to start the conversation while it's still early. I told myself if I'm going to be extending, I would love to extend in a different area, so I'm able to experience a different culture, a different routine, a different family, different kids, a different environment in a new city. I told myself that I don't want to be staying in one place for a long time. I know everybody is different. Some people do stay with their old host families, but other people I was like, I want to utilize my time very well here, so I decided to extend. But telling my host family at the time, it was difficult. Telling them that I want to extend with another family, because it's like, whoa, I've known you guys for such a long time. But at the end of the day, I had to do what is going to make me happy, because at the end of the day, this is my life and I have to live with the choices and decisions that I'm going to be making. Difficult for me to tell them. I had to talk to a few au pairs and ask them hey, how did you guys start this conversation? How did you guys navigate it? Because it's tricky telling someone guys, next year I'm not going to be with you guys, and now everybody has to also start the search. They also have to start the search early, so they are able to find a new au pair and you're able to find a family. With your application process, you also have to notify the agency. Now once you notify the agency, you have 3 options for your extension program application. It's either you're going to say you're not sure yet, extending, or you're going to be extending with the same family. So I obviously clicked on I'm going to be extending with a different family, and that's when my application starts. So in this application, you are still able to access your old application and change a few things of what you want to change in your old application, like your videos or the notes that you wrote, because that is the past you. But I decided not to change anything that was in my old profile, but all I did was just add more photos onto my profile. Some of that in the application, you have to describe yourself, how you've been driving, how long you've been driving, how was it living as an au pair, what you learned from the experience. They're just going to be asking you a few questions. I am going to leave some of the questions here on the screen, and then when you're done with that, you also get to choose. I feel like this is the best thing about the extension. You get to choose where you want to go. It's the power is in your hands. But I'll explain the but to you guys. You want to go, you get to choose the state that you want to live in. So I chose, for example, places in the East Coast, because I really wanted to go. I really wanted to go to New York. I chose New York. I chose California, but I was like, I'm not too sure about Cali, but okay. I chose Washington. I chose Boston because au pairs get paid more in Boston. So I was like, Massachusetts, here we come, let's go. I chose Chicago because my initial thing was I really wanted, for my extension year, I wanted to stay in a city, but my mind was just so focused on I want to stay in New York City. Before your profile starts to go live, you have to pay a fee of $395, but you get to choose whether you're going to be paying it once you found your family, once you found your match, like you did in your first time, or you get to choose if you're going to pay it immediately. And I chose to pay towards the end once I know that I've already found a host family to go to. You have to make sure that you've completed all your credits. Like, you have to make sure that you've completed your 6 credits. If you have not completed your 6 credits yet, you have to show them proof of registration of the credits that you are completing. And then your host family, the one that you're staying with, have to write a reference letter, a letter of recommendation to the other host families. The sad thing is that you aren't able to see the letter, but then they have to write this letter, and it asks them questions about like your personality and whatnot. But I don't know what the questions are, I'd be lying to you guys. But then your host family has to write this letter, and if they write and submit this letter, your profile is able to go live. I remember that my profile went live in September. So in the beginning of September, and I was excited. I was like, okay, since I'm in country, it's going to be easier for me to get connections. You know, I'm in country, connections are going to be coming my way. Guys, when I tell you that it was so difficult, and one thing I did use, remember that I always am using Facebook or peer groups, those helped me a lot. I was able to receive a few connections and talk to people through Facebook groups. I was able to market myself from there. People were sending me DMs, trying to talk to me. But then the families that were trying to talk to me were age groups, like people that need somebody that's infant qualified, and I'm not infant qualified, or they were in states that I didn't want to stay in. LCCs were contacting me. Now, like families that I liked were also contacting me, and I was also able to, like, if somebody sent a post like, hey, I'm looking for Aupair in January, I'd also be, you know, in their DMs, and I like would speak to each other. And I thought that was going to be easy for me to get a connection and a match easily, because when I'd be talking to other people, they're like, oh, I found my match in, you know, 3 weeks, I found my match in 2 weeks, and I'm like, 2 weeks is passing, 3 weeks is passing, and I'm not getting anything. And another thing with the connection phase, when you connect with the family, is that you have to have a maximum of 3 connections at a time. So if there's too many connections, you'll have to delete a connection and another connection will be able to come in, because the maximum is 3, or even like let the other people that are trying to connect with you know that this person's connections are full at the moment, and then they won't be able to connect with you. So the maximum number of connections for host families is 3, which is quite frustrating, because they find that I have connections that I'm not really sure of. Then I'd be talking to people on Facebook, but then I'm like, I need to delete one of you guys or 2 of you guys, because I'm blocking the gate to speak to other people. So then September passed, I wasn't able to find my match, and I was like, okay, I was like, God, everything is your hands. I trust and believe that you're going to put me, you know, in a good and great family. And then there was other family that I liked, for example, in New York, and I wasn't able to connect with them. They found somebody else. New York was like, we don't want you. But all these other places, like literally California was calling me. I got people from LA, San Diego, San Jose, San Francisco, and I'm like, why are you guys sending me all the connections? I want to go to New York. And I feel like that is the most painful thing, when you are sure of a family, like, I'm going to be going to these people, I'm sure they are my family, they're going to be my host family. Like, they found another au pair. Like, it happened to me a few times. And then there were also people that that wanted to match with me, but I didn't want to match with them, because I was like, you know what, my spirit and God is just telling me to wait, and that my family is coming. And then eventually I remember that I wanted to make sure that I had a connection before the beginning of December, because I know that when festive season starts, nobody's trying to be looking for an au pair. I'm not trying to be looking for a host family. I'm not trying to stress. I'm trying to focus on enjoying the festive season. And I remember there was a family that I was speaking to that week, and we were sure that we're going to be connecting, everything was fine. And then I changed my mind, and I'm like, I can't match with you guys, because something me was like, just don't do it. And the current family that I'm with, they sent through their connection, we spoke for a bit, and then literally on the 29th of November, we matched. And the funny thing is that they were all the way in San Francisco, and I had never been to the West Coast. My mind was so fixated on New York, but then the connections of New York were becoming less and less and less and less, because time was just going. I'm like, I have a month until I have to find a family. And then I spoke to them, and I literally liked them, and we liked each other's energy. They were so nice and kind to me, and I was like, I think these people are the ones. Obviously I had to pray about it and talk to God about it, and then here I am now. I am a whole California girl living in San Francisco, which is so crazy, because I did not want to live in, for example, the West Coast. I wanted the East Coast because of, number one, the time zone, that I'd be also in New York. But then it's just so crazy that now here I am in San Francisco. I literally live in the city, literally in the city, guys. When I tell you that I am in the city, the bus stop is literally a few blocks away, like literally 1 block away. I'm able to walk to parks. Parks are all around me. I'm able to run to different parks. I'm able to walk to places. I'm able to literally walk to Walgreens, to restaurants, to the stores. Like, it makes me so happy because I enjoy walking and I just enjoy exploring the city. And I'm just so grateful and blessed that God was able to place me in a city. Because I even remember there were times where, like, I'd be asking girls that were, or asking my friends that are in New York, like, hey, can you send me your LCC's contacts? These LCCs would be mising me. They would literally be mising me, guys. It was so tense. I have to also emphasize on is that, which kind of still sucks, is that you're unable to choose the family. But that's why I say, when you're able to use the Facebook groups and reach out to families there, then it does really make it much more easier for you to be able to reach out and speak to families. But I'm just so happy that, you know, God made me wait, even though it took me about like 2-3 months in finding a family. But then I'm just glad that he placed me in this family, and I'm just so happy that I am a city girl who lives in San Francisco, which is just crazy to me. It's just so crazy because I'm like, wow, I live in California, I live in San Francisco, which is pretty cool. But then I'm just so grateful for it. And like, in terms of extension phase, I do highly recommend Facebook groups. I do also highly recommend marketing stuff, because that does help. Obviously, the photos that you put on, changing a few stuff on your profile. And I feel like another good thing about the extension here is that you know exactly what it is that you want. And I told myself, I'm not willing to compromise. You know that you don't want this, because in your first year, you like, I feel like once you go through your first year, here's a vacker, like your eyes are open, you're like, you know exactly what it is that you want, you know exactly what it is that you're not going to settle for. You're so strong and firm with yourself that you know that you're not going to be able to put your foot down to anything, that you're not willing to compromise your standards. And I feel like that's like a very good thing, because I even told myself, for example, I told myself, if I'm going to be living in a city, I don't need to have a car, because I know that I'm able to walk or use the bus to get to places. And here I am, I have a car that I'm able to use, but I'm like, as I don't use it unless I'm taking the kids to school, because I'm like, I just want to walk. I want to run, I want to use the bus, which makes it so convenient for me. But yeah, guys, that is like the whole extension phase program for me. If anybody has anything else to say about the extension phase program, please do comment down below. Please do tell us how your experience was. Everybody's experience is different. Obviously, it is like a very tough decision to make, whether or not you're going to be extending with the same family, whether you're going to be going home, whether you're going to be doing something else. But at the end of the day, just remember that it is your life, and the choices and decisions that you make, obviously you'll have to live with them, and also just be happy and at peace with the choices and decisions you're going to be making. That's why I'm like, I'm still in awe that I've extended for another year. But at the time, I thought that I'm going crazy, because I'm like, you want to do this for another year? But I'm just so happy that I'm doing it for another year, because it's like, now I'm able to start, you know, afresh, being able to live a city girl life, being able to do things in the city, which is very exciting. But yeah, guys, that is that about the whole extension phase. I honestly hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and share. And I will see you guys in my next video. Forgot to mention while editing the video is that you are able to choose whether you want to extend for 6 months, 9 months, or 12 months. And if you're extending for 6 months, you're able to do 3 credits that you need to complete. Or if you're extending for 9 to 12 months, you'll be able to complete 6 credits that you'll need to show that you have already completed for whatever course you're going to be doing throughout your au pair extension term or extension month. See you guys in my next one. Bye.